FRE $H Fresh at the Flyboy Way. That's THE, not the G. FLYBOYWAY. Don't ask why, just check out the channel. And we're back with another Jeep Talk. After I just dropped my son off of school, looking around at all these new buildings being built, these houses in East Orange, and Newark, and South Orange, where I'm at, getting built, I started to look around and realize there's going to be a lot of change coming and a lot of people having kids. And as I continue my building a legacy, as people don't, if you don't know already, I'm working on building a legacy. A legacy is more than the children. A legacy is more than the women, but the women and the children are involved when you're building a legacy. They are a major part of your legacy. So for me, it is important to learn from the past, learn from the mistakes of others, and learn how basically I can, because you never be able to, I should have started off with this. You'll never be able to pick the perfect baby mother. You'll never be able to pick the perfect baby mother. It won't happen. It won't happen. If you think that you can pick the perfect baby mother, and that baby mother or that wife with the kid with whom you have children, hold on a second, will be able to stay that way for the whole 18 years. What's up, brother? Let me get $50 regular, please. Yes. And you think that woman will stay with you and be able to stay 07052.
Okay, $50.
$50, 50, yeah. And you think that woman is going to stay in any manner the same way she was when you met her after she has a kid? You're clearly mistaken. I'm telling you this from somebody who has seen it and somebody who has 2 children of his own. So when it comes to building my legacy, we know we want to still work on Cuba, but you got to wait for that. So right now we're focusing on Colombia because I don't want to do them both at the same time. I had to use the steps that I took in my first 2 children to understand how I wanted to pick the child's mother of my 3rd child. Shout out to Jay Brass in the room, what's going on? Shout out to Precious Miss Jade in the room, what's going on? One thing I realized is that a lot of relationships, a lot of parenting goes wrong because the person you pick for your child's parent, or the woman that a man would pick for the child's woman, isn't mentally stable enough to keep the same energy she kept in the beginning. So for me, one of the most important things when I choose my child's mother for Colombia will be she has to be more of the friend type than the relationship type. Let me try to give you guys a better example or summary of this. There are a lot of women who are so much into romance. They're so much into, oh, buy me flowers, oh, take me to the store, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that type of woman. There's nothing wrong with that type of woman. Or there's also women who are more stricken. They all about business. Let's get this money. Let's do this. That also can be a bad thing in my perspective. What I'm looking for is a jovial woman who is energetic, who, now, I won't say works out all the time, because that could be a bad thing also, but you want to make sure that she's showing you something that she can stay consistent, because consistency is always the key. In all of the Jeep talks and all of the talks that we have about everything, consistency will always be the key. Shout out to HG Chill in the building. Shout out to Miss J. What's going on? A lot of people don't understand that when you look at a woman, there are going to be hints that she's consistent, or she's able to stay consistent. If she goes to the gym once or twice a week, every week, that's consistent. If you We're gonna get to that, Jay Brass. We're gonna get to that. But this is all before when you first start, because you're not. For those that are watching the future, if it doesn't come up, Jay Brass says you better really get to know her family, her parents' relationship, etc. But we have to start when you're looking for a child's wife. Thanks, brother. All right. You have to start from you're not going to meet her parents the first day you meet her. You're not going to meet her parents the second time you meet her. It's going to take at least 2 months 3 months before you meet her parents. And I know probably say, oh, you shouldn't have a kid till you meet her parents. That could be true. I think that's the best idea. However, even meeting the parents for the first time won't tell you the whole story. You're going to have to learn on the side. So again, this is all the stuff that you do even before we get to the point of meeting the family. Because it's not just meeting the parents. Sometimes you got to meet the brothers. You got to meet the cousins. You got to meet the sisters. You got to meet the friend of the family. Because there's always a friend of the family when it comes to women, even abroad. Even women in the States. But we're specifically talking about Colombia because that's where we're working on building a legacy. There's always a friend of the family who may be the guy who the family wants to be but it just never worked out that way, and you're always going to be kind of compared to that. But that's a whole different topic, y'all. Again, y'all, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on, Keem? All right. So another thing I realized is that from my experiences, remember I have 2 children. My daughter is 18, graduated on time. She's in cosmetology school, working on her future. My son, honor roll student, principal's honor roll student in a private school. He listens. He goes to sleep one time. He does what he's supposed to do. He's into video games and stuff, but he still plays for the basketball team. So I feel as though I've had 2, knock on wood somewhere, I've had 2 successful children. I have one successful because she's out of high school, and one who's in the process of his success as he progressed through. So I feel as though I have a good standing when it comes to what qualities that I should look for. And it's never going to be perfect, but what qualities I should look for when I choose a baby mother. Another quality that I decided I really wanted. And the first time I had a child's mother, I didn't look in it too much. But the second time that I had my son, the second time I had a child, I thought of this very, very, very much. I'm not sure if it's true, but in my opinion, intelligence passes down through genealogy. Through the genes, I believe there's some form of intelligence or some form of logic or the capacity to memorize, understand, interpret, and then process information. I think that's somewhere along the genealogy where when I chose my second baby mother, I said, yo, I want somebody who is very intellectual. Now, of course, I had to give up on some things. I had to give up on the fact that she may not be as urban as I wanted. She may not be as urban as I wanted because a lot of people where around the area where I live may not have the same ideology of what education and what intelligence is. So I had to go outside of where I live to find somebody who could fit that. And I think that's a major part I think that played a major part of me picking the baby mother who had that intelligence, even though she had some other parts that was wrong with it because that came with it, picking somebody that had that intelligence, because I think that made it so that my son is extremely smart. Every single teacher, he's extremely smart. Every single school that he's been to, he's extremely smart. That's why I work hard to put him in private school because my daughter's smart too, but my son from youth, all his teachers, yo, you sure you don't want him to skip a grade? You don't want him to, I'm like, no, I want him to go with the grade he's in. You maybe put him in gifted and talented if you find a school with that. Again, I think that intelligence passes down to genealogy. What's going on, Bleak? What's going on, Just Fine? What's going on? Again, and so all of this stuff is things that I plan on taking with me when I build my Colombian legacy, when I pick a woman. Now, I've been traveling to Colombia since 2021. It's 2026 now, and I went plenty of times. You know, say yo hablo español. I speak Spanish. I have an idea of the different cultures. I've been to Medellin. I've been to Bogota. I've been to Cali. I've been to Cartagena. I've been to Barranquilla. So I know different ethnicities or cultures, the Paisa, the Rollers in Bogota, the Caleñas in Cali, the Barranquilleras, the Cartagenas, so many different ones. And as I sipped through it, and San Andreas, I haven't been there, but I feel like the woman is going to have to be, in my opinion, the woman is going to have to be costeña. Costeña meaning she lives on the coast of Colombia. This is my opinion. I'm leaning more towards when I'm picking my baby mother, my child's mother that's going to help me build a legacy in Colombia. She's going to have to be a costeña. Now, whether she's dark skinned or light skinned or in between, whether she has blonde hair or red hair or black hair, curly hair or a fro, that's all just characteristics. That's not a big trend, because you have to remember this. The look is not going to determine the success of your kid. It's not. And that's one thing I hope. Even back in the day, they told you, never trust a big butt and a smile. Never trust a big butt and a smile. The look will always put you in a bad predicament. Always. When you base it, I want my son to look this way, or I want now, there has to be some kind of attraction. It is very important to be some kind of attraction that can last a long time. But as far as the look should be way down on, I'm not telling you where it should be on your scale, but on my scale, the look when it comes to building a legacy it's like number 4. We got to go with logicness, because for me, a woman has to be logical. Because if a woman is not logical, like logical meaning understanding, intelligent enough to understand cause and effect, understand the that how things work a little bit, even though it's a different culture, the logic is still the same. Even though Colombia is a different culture, the logic is still the same. The second thing is she has to be the most important. The second thing is she has to be super friendly and energetic and jovial. She has to be like me, and she has to want to be comfortable with being on camera, because that's going to be something I carry with me until the end of my time. So she has to have that energy where, I don't know if you guys ever met a woman either in the States or out of the States that was just so fun to be around. Like, she's so fun to be around, even though you did want to smash, you wasn't in a rush to smash because she's so fun to be around. That's the type of woman. The second thing that's most important to me. So logic and jovialness. Or that's just the top 2 things. The third thing is the family. Now we can get to the family, y'all. When it comes to picking a baby mother, I'm gonna get to your comments and we go down. The next thing is the family. You notice I didn't say anything about being, she has to love me. She has to only want me. She has to not be doing this. I didn't say none of that. The third thing is the family. Not just how close-knit the family is, but you got to have an idea of the drive of the family to function as a family. And the reason I say this is because there's a lot of families that have a lot of people, but their relationships have a lot of family members, and you might always see them together. Even in the States, there's a bunch of families that have a lot of family members, and you might see them bunched up together all the time, but it's so dysfunctional, meaning this cousin doesn't like this cousin, the mother doesn't want to watch the grandkids, the father, he doesn't work, the mother works. There's so many relationships, even over in Colombia, a lot, that the family is a big family, but it's super dysfunctional. And that's not something you're going to notice on the first run. That's not something you're going to notice on the second run. That's something that slips over time. That's why, although I put it third, although it's third, it's still important. It's still almost one of the most important things. You got to learn how cool she is with her cousins. Because here's another thing. A lot of women come from a great family, right? They come from a great family in Colombia and abroad. We're talking about Colombia right now. But they're not cool with their family. They're not as tight-knit with their family. Or they're looked at as the black sheep of the family. Now, Sometimes it could be an understandable thing where the family overused or abused the generosity of the woman in Colombia, because the woman may have had some kind of income where she kept sending to the family, and when she stopped giving the income, the family could be like, I'm not doing it anymore. So this is not always a guarantee sign, but if you notice that the family and the woman that you're trying to make your child's mother isn't as tight knit, that might be something to be cautious about when choosing a baby mother, y'all. It might be something that you really want to be cautious about when choosing a baby mother. And before we get to number 4, let me get to some more comments. Let's stop here. Kareem said he's going to Cartagena next week. That's what's going on. That's what's up. What's up? I'll be in Barranquilla next month for Carnival. Chestnut, what up? Just said it, Mac. What it do? Good riddance. What up? Salute. All right, let me get back to the conversation, y'all. So we're on number 3. Remember, the first 3 things: logic. She has to be logical. Jovial, not the sweet, not the I want romance type, but the I love to be around. I can be around you and your homies. I can be on camera. Jovial. 3, family ties. I'm gonna give 5. There's a bunch of more we can talk about later, but I'm gonna give 5. The 4th one, and this is another one that's most important. Also important. The 4th sign of you want to watch for when picking a child's mother is you want to figure out or know who she is friends with. Now, I know a lot of people think I'm missing some more important things. You might have a different list. This is just my list of what I've learned from having kids and all that stuff. The 4th one is you want to know who she is friends with. There was a famous person that once said, you are the sum and divided by the number, the average. You are the average of the 5 people you're around the most. The 5 people you're around the most. Now, here in the United States, pros are not legal, and it's frowned upon. Overseas, it's a different culture. In most countries, it's a different culture, except for the United States, it's a different culture. So, if a woman has 1 or 2, if she has 5 friends, and 1 or 2 of them are pros, come on, man. That's just life. Even if she has 5 friends, and 2 of them are pros, and 1 of them is a semi-pro, I can let it rock, because you got to understand that's a cultural difference. But if the woman has got 5 friends, 4 of them are pros, and 1 is a semi-pro, or a woman that a lot of people knock down, now that's got to automatically got a red flagger. And to me, I'm not going to knock you on 1 red flag. I'll give you a chance, or I'll give a woman a chance on 1 red flag. But if a woman has more than 1 red flag, it's cut. As far as having a kid, we can still be friends. I can still be friends with a woman, but in this conversation, we're talking about choosing a woman to be your baby mother. Choosing a woman to bear your fruit, to build your legacy. And what you don't want to be like Coming to America, where the woman's going to do everything you say, but she doesn't have a mind of her own. Hop on 1 foot. Bark like a dog. A big dog. So, when it comes to number 4, it is make sure that you know who she is close friends with, and know if they have a name. At least know 3 of her friends. If 2 out of 3 are pros and the other one is a semi-pro, that might be a red flag. And again, a red flag does not cancel the woman. But 2 red flags, and there's no chance she could be your baby mother. But you have to be willing to bring with that risk. So that's 4. If you're just watching, this is Jeep Talk episode 69, how to pick a baby mother, the search for my Colombian legacy. So if, again, you got to meet at least 3 friends, and if 2 out of 3 are pros, and you gotta start pondering, that might be a red flag. If the 3rd one is a semi-pro, or somebody that a couple guys hit already, that's automatically a red flag. 2 red flags is over. And the 5th one. Now, The fifth one could be this fifth. Remember, the first one was logic. The second one was friendliness. The third one was family. The fourth one was her friends. And the fifth one is going to be a little bit controversial. It's going to be a little bit controversial. And it links on to like the last comment. The type of work she does. Here's where you have to understand a cultural difference. And I said this in one of my lives before. The United States isn't the standard of what reality is around the world. Pros, I can't say another terminology, it's not the same word, but pros, professionals, are legal in the majority of countries outside of the United States. They're not legal in England, they're not legal, or they are legal in Amsterdam. So pros being legal means that it's a form of income that was accepted and in the culture. Whether it's looked down upon, it depends on the actual culture, but that is a form of employment. It is important for you to, how do I say this without sounding crazy, people? If a girl, if you meet a woman on Tinder, right, and she says, soy a pro, if I'm a pro, automatically that's a red flag. You can't do it, because now she's out in the open. She's proing everywhere. If you meet a woman who has proed before, maybe if you're in Colombia, we're gonna talk about Colombia, because a lot of women in Colombia may not be a pro in their city, but they used to, or may go to Cartagena. They may go to Medellin. They may have a guy who flies them out to San Andreas because the guy is going to spend some money on them. This is just part of the culture of Colombia. So you're going to have to, this is why it's the fifth one out of the five, but it's something that you really need to look at. Your mentalness as a man when picking your baby mother, if you are not 100%, I didn't say 90%, if you are not 100% able to deal with the fact that in her lifetime, if she looks good, if she's a 6'7", if she's a 6'7", 8'9", in Colombia, odds are there was at least one guy you know that hit, or at least one time that she spent proing. It's just the standard. And I know for some people that doesn't work. Automatically, oh no, I can never deal with her. I would never deal with her. Any girl's a pro, because the worst thing you can get is believing that a woman has never proed or never did something like that, and then you find out and your heart is broken. My heart is breaking, because the issue is, if you're not ready to accept the fact that odds are, if you have an attractive woman from Colombia and you're looking to make a baby mother, she's proed at least once. She's proed at least once. For me, I think with number 5, her track record should be looked at, and it is important that she's not an openly consistent pro when you're trying to build a baby mother. That's the only way I can word it. I know some people say, yo, I would never, why would you ever? I'm a realist. I am realistic when I make things occur. And it's gonna get a little bit fuzzy here. So if a woman is, in my red flags is if the woman is an open pro, or if there's a lot of people. For example, there was this cool, dope woman. She was intelligent. She had the jovialness. I met in Cali. She was intelligent. She had the jovialness. She was cool with her family. She was cute. She had the sex appeal. But like 6 niggas hit me up. Oh, like 6 guys hit me up for saying, yo, I seen a video with her with another dude in Dominican Republic, and I was like, oh, I can't even do nothing with that. That's an automatic red flag. She's out of here. Because as cool as she was, and I could still hang out with her, I could still do it, but I don't like to risk it, because I know as a man, once you start to hang out with a woman and she's doing a lot of stuff for you, she's not doing it for everybody else, it builds something that's not really good if you're not trying to go long term with it. But the woman, I had like 6 dudes, not to mention the 1 or 2 dudes she showed me that was cursing me out or talking bad about me because they seen it on my video. That's always going to be a red flag. If it's always going, even if she's not a pro, that is always going to be a red flag. And again, one red flag might not suspend you, but two red flags you out of there. Two red flags you out of there. Now there are some other things. It's going to get a little dicey right here, y'all, because we're going through the wooded area in the hill, the mountains. But there are some other things that I want to get to after the wooded area, as far as so if you just stick with me, as far as I'll get to your comments too when we come to a stop. As far as things that you may want to consider, they're not in my top, but you may want to consider, such as again, her going to the gym is important because a lot of women, after having their children, they blow up. They become easier to find a quick win. Thank you, ma'am. For guys who want to pay, relax, and and it's a very big thing over there from my experience. If you want to check out, I'm getting to your comments. Again, we're still going through the wooded area. It might mess up, it might not mess up. We'll see. Another major thing is that how she dresses, because that's going to be a thing that I want to talk about that a little bit more once we get out the wooded area, because it's going to be very. That's what I'm with. The status of what she requires is very important. It is very important to know how high or how bougie the woman you want to be your baby mother is. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples because I've had some too. It's very important to know how bougie or bourgeoisie or how demanding of a higher economical lifestyle the woman that you choose to be your baby mother in Colombia is. Because one, if you cannot provide that lifestyle, she's going to drag you. And when I say she's going to drag you, I mean she's going to stick around with you. Hold on, back, y'all. You don't have to be in a relationship. I told you, I'm not looking for that relationship type because I don't think that lasts long. I think the friendships with the jovial woman is the thing that'll get you through. And that's me having 2 kids, experiencing how it works. Listen, and seeing other guys who had kids, seeing how it works. The jovialness and the friendship is what makes the baby mother consistently good for longer. But you don't want to have a kid with a woman who you cannot afford to maintain her lifestyle. And if you at 95, I won't even say 99, 95% of the Colombian women you meet will be honest with you if you ask them and you address them properly the type of lifestyle they want from their baby mother, from their baby father. If you don't ask, then you stuck with whatever you think she might want. But if you ask, she'll tell you. And you'll see this on a bunch of my videos already. You'll see a woman saying million Colombian pesos a month. Now, automatically, understandable. A lot of guys be like, oh my God, she's requiring 4 million. She don't even make 4 million. She don't even have money to live like that. If you don't provide, and I know it could be messing up right now, the lifestyle that woman in Colombia requires, she's going to mess you up big time. Because she's going to be out there getting wild. She's going to leave your kid at home. Your kid is not going to be taken care of as good. She's going to have other men around your kids. So can you find a woman who wants a 1 million lifestyle in Colombia? Yes, you can. But here's the issue with that. You go and you find that woman who's cool with being on a 1 or 2 million lifestyle in Colombia to have a kid with. She's going to run across somebody that's willing to give her a $4 million lifestyle. A lot of people. And she's going to be on OnlyFans. She's going to be doing stuff with this guy. And if you're willing to accept that, have at it. If your heart ain't breaking from seeing another guy walking with your kid playing stepdaddy while you back home in the States sending her this little 1 or 2 million, then cool. Can it still happen if she makes more money, yes, if she has a higher lifestyle, it can still happen. But it's not really likely. It's just not as likely. It's not as nothing is. Remember, I started this statement in the beginning of this show. It is never going to be 100% that you're going to pick the right baby mother. Never. And if somehow it is 100% that you pick the right baby mother, in the 18 years you're with her, it's going to change. It's not a question. It's going to change. It's just going to change. That's just the way life works. And I'm gonna get to your comments when we come to a stop. So again, when it comes to, again, a woman will either she'll tell you or she'll show you the lifestyle she requires to stay consistent. Now, she'll even tell you what it comes with. For example, in the last video, I'm only speaking about the last time I was in Colombia, because this is all about Colombia and building a legacy. The last woman that I had a conversation like this about in Colombia was like, the lifestyle she offers for that 4 million Colombian peso is, she's going to have your kid in a good school district, in a safe area. She's going to be a stay-at-home mother. Now, whether or not she cheats, she can say she's not going to cheat. Obviously, she is. But the respect that she'll have not to bring another dude around your kid, the respect that she'll have not to be not to bring another dude in the house, is, I think, is trustworthy. I think that aspect of it is trustworthy. But it also comes with, the introduction to the family all having all the stuff. You can leave cameras there. So again, you pay for the lifestyle. You're going to have to pay for the quality of lifestyle you want. Now, you might not have to do that for you get a woman from the, a lot of people that go to the quote unquote slums. They go to the barrios. They go to the low areas to try to go find this woman who doesn't have anything and give her everything and hope that works. That's not 100% guaranteed. It doesn't work majority of the time. It doesn't. You know why it doesn't work the majority of the time? Especially if you're a content creator. It doesn't work the majority of the time, because once you take that woman out of that environment and you put her in an environment that she's used to having, that she's not used to having, you show her this lifestyle that she's not used to having, she's willing to do anything. So you got to tread, a lot of guys that you got to understand. You can pick the woman from the barrio that's going to be, that hasn't, and introduce her to a lifestyle. It's the same thing in the States, but introduce her to a lifestyle that she's not accustomed to having. But once you do that, if you're not able to keep that consistent, she's going to find a way to keep that lifestyle. And that's going to involve a lot of proing. That's going to involve messing with a lot of foreigners. And again, I tell people, if you are not willing or not able to deal with my heart breaking because your girl may have proed in the future or the past, or may have slept with a lot of extranjeros, which is foreigners, Colombia ain't the place for you to try to build a legacy. It ain't the place for you to try to have a kid. It's not. It's just not. Because it's going to end up with you crashing out, with you doing something that's emotionally not stable. Crashing out. Doing something that's emotionally or not logical. Another G. So, again, I'm going to get to your comments. I just don't want to get to your comments. If you just joining the room, this is Jeep Talk, episode 69. Basically the search for the baby, how to pick a baby mother, the search for the Colombian legacy. Now, along my legacy, I'm gonna give you a little bit about my journey in Colombia so far. Along my legacy, I met a lot of different women who I felt as though could be good to invest in as a child's mother. And I give all my information out only because I think it'll help people in the future. And if people who are not in the generation, who will come in the future, who watch this video, they may go to my other videos and see how the interactions was with the women I'm talking about. And I put everything out there because I'm cool with being an example, even if it makes it harder for me to achieve. Because eventually I won't be posting as much as far as edited videos with the women. So recently I had an amazing woman from San Andreas Jamaican and Jamaican Colombian, which is a hell of a mix I've never seen before. Amazingly beautiful woman. And I'm working on building. I was working on. I'm still, but I worked on building a legacy with her. But along the legacy build, I realized that what she wanted, as far as life, not just a relationship, was so much bigger and different. Because she loves to travel to sea. So right now she's working on a cruise. And the thing about that is she loves to be free-willed at sea. Is that I don't know if that is that is a red flag for having a kid, because one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to force a kid, or not force, but I'm just gonna say force, but you don't want to force a kid on a woman who has a different idea of her life. Another woman, a light-skinned, thick woman I met in Cali last year. She was on my videos this year also. Perfect vibe. Showed me around. Never asked for money. That's gonna be a big thing too. We're gonna get to that never ask for money thing too, hopefully. But it's a great vibe. But she has a kid already. Now, a kid already is a red flag. But remember, it's not one red flag that you got to worry about. It's two. One red flag, you can look through it. Two red flags is over. So if you got, when I say a kid is not something in Colombia you have to worry about, if you have the money, if you have the patience, I'm gonna tell you guys this right now. A lot of women I've met said that, and a lot of things I've seen, the Colombian guys don't care a lot of Colombian guys, not all, but a lot of Colombian guys in Colombia don't care to be with their baby mother like as much as in the States they urge you to be in a relationship and be one-on-one. That's not really a vibe in Colombia like that. So you don't really have to worry as much about the baby father coming back to hit it. It's not a big thing in Colombia. I know over here, everybody in the States like, oh my God, you go over there and you get a single mom. Yeah, but the single moms in Colombia are a little bit different from the single moms in the States. Because the single moms in the States, the baby father might still hit. The baby father might still hit. He might still hit. But in Colombia, not as much, because they already on to the next 3 or 4. But as I was saying, it is important for you to know that one red flag is okay. So she had a kid, and I was okay with it, but she don't want another kid. And once a woman says she don't want another kid, you got to put it in the mentality that if you force a kid on her, or if you can coerce or convince her, not coerce, let me say, convince her to have another kid, and you're not there 100% for what she needs you to be, she's gonna hate you, and then she's gonna do stuff out of spite. And the last thing you want in any country in the world is a spiteful woman. You don't want a spiteful woman as a baby mother. You don't. Sometimes even myself in the States, I have to just let things go that don't make sense because you don't want a spiteful woman in the United States. You gotta stand your ground when it comes to, certain things. I want my kid to go here. I want my stuff, but you gotta understand there's a cultural difference when it comes to Colombia. And there are going to be some things where you just gotta bite the bullet, pause, and say, yo, all right, let me see how I can work through this. Let me see how I can work through this, because I'm not going to change her mind. I'm not going to be able to adjust to how I wanted to adjust. So let me work my way through this. You know what I mean? Again, y'all, this is not telling people what to do. This is just giving you my steps on how I pick a baby mother, and how I plan on building my Colombian legacy, man. Let me get to shout out your comments, y'all. Shout out you for doing a great. I appreciate that, man. Listen, again, the biggest gratitude. I mean, the biggest reward I get for raising my children and being a father in their life is to see when they get, like, when I see my daughter walk across that stage at 18 on time, and knowing what she wants to do, having an idea of what she wants to try to do when she got out of school and starting that, or watching my son come back home and know how to do this math and going and seeing him on the principal list and all his achievements. That's the biggest reward I can get, and that's why I'm having this conversation, to give you guys some of my insights of what I've done in the past, to give you guys insights of how I'm moving in the future toward getting my Colombian legacy started with a woman and a kid. Shout out to Maurice in the building. What up? A Colombian 6'7" with some education is probably best. Ah, Chalupe, I would say I agree. I agree. I agree. But I think the look isn't as important as where she's from. Now, again, man, for those that have been watching this, that's been following me on this journey for a long time, y'all guys know when I first went to Colombia the first time, I found this amazing Venezuelan woman. Man, I love them Vinnies. I found this amazing Venezuelan woman, and she was with me every single time when I was in Colombia. Yo, probably one of the most loyalist, faithfulest, or but she was from the barrios, and her family wasn't well off, but they was together. They was very tight knit, but the intelligence aspect wasn't as high as I would wish for it to be, and the stability. Would I think that she would change with the money? No, but I also think that when raising your kids, it would have been a little bit of hassle. Me needing her to be the intelligent woman. She was more like the woman on on Coming to America that would do anything, would be loyal. She'd be faithful. She looked good. She would move around, but it would be difficult for me to see her raise my kid the way I want my kids to be powerful. It would be very difficult. I need a woman, and this is another thing. I need a woman to have some aggression. I don't want a woman to be submissive 100% when she's raising my kid, because that teaches your kid to be submissive. And that's one part that a lot of people don't really look at. When your woman is submissive in the sense of she's not aggressive with getting or trying to achieve what she wants. She's not she doesn't have a mind of her own. That gets passed down to your kids. This is the part that everybody leaves out when they look for this submissive woman. When you have a kid with this submissive woman, they pass that to your kids. And the last thing I want either one of my kids to be is a submissive kid. I want them to be very knowing what they want and going for it, even if it's against what the parents say, even if it's against what the law says. You know what I mean? This is why, again, intelligence was at the height, and logic was at the height of when I'm looking for a baby mother in Colombia. What I'm doing. And I know I'm not getting to a lot of your comments because but I'll try to get to it in 10 minutes, and then we'll end the live because we're finally somewhere where I can check them. And I just had so many stories about it. This. Could have been it's almost an hour. It could have been an hour, maybe 2 hour live of how detailed that I've been in looking and planning out how I'm going to build a legacy. And I do this in every country. I mean, every country, Colombia and Cuba, the countries I plan on building a legacy in. This is the process of what I go through when I pick a woman. Like even in Cuba, if you guys have been following the journey, the woman was from the barrio. She was loyal. She had a kid, but her intelligence, she was a hustler. She get her money. She know how to do it right. So the one flag of her having a kid, it didn't really do too much damage. But the barrio-ness ended up getting her to have a second kid, and that stopped everything. It stopped everything. The whole plans threw them in the garbage, in the trash, automatically. Bam, bam, wham, bam, gone. So let me get to your comments now. We got about 6 minutes before I gotta go inside. So let me get to your comments and see what y'all say. Chalupe says 8 to 10 know they fine and will not listen. Not all the time, Chalupe. Sometimes 8 through 10 will listen if you have enough money and enough motion. Here's what people get messed up at. If you have money, but you don't have motion, you're not going to be able to keep that 8 to 10 happy. Motion meaning you're not known. Motion meaning you don't have a big Instagram or big social media presence. That's all part of motion. When you are around a bunch of people, if you don't stick out, you don't have to be like the leader, but if you don't stick out and shine, then you don't have any motion. In Colombia, even in the States, but it's at a higher level, but we're talking about Colombia. In Colombia, women know if you have motion or not by your social media. If you tell them you don't have a social media, a lot of people say, well, I don't have a social media. I got a good girl. Bro, she's cheating. She's probably cheating. Because a woman is going to, I explained what motion is, so I'm going to use that word a lot more now. But a woman is going to go to the guy that she thinks she has an appeal to. And if he has money, she's going. And if he doesn't, if you have motion but you don't have money, then she might leave you for the guy who has money, but she'll come back every now and then to play. But she ain't gonna have no kid. Which she ain't gonna have no kid with a guy that just got motion. They ain't got no money. They ain't giving her a lifestyle that she want to live. So, yes, an 8 to 10 could still work, but it requires a lot of money and a lot of motion. Paul and but Paul says, what about health history, bro? Can she carry a child? Does she have a physical issues, etc.? All of that is stuff that you're really never going to find out. I mean, a lot of people, by the time, here's the thing, Paul, and I don't know if you're still here. By the time you figure all that out, she got pregnant by somebody else. It's the way, and you're gonna be like, oh well. And then every single chick, by the time you really go through, hey, can you have a kid? This and this. I mean, maybe it's a question you could ask, but honestly, if a woman can't have a kid or she has health issues, she's gonna come out and tell you within the first three months of her knowing you, 2 months of you knowing, at least, if not a month. But by the time you really go into detail, doctors is important, but let's go to the doctor to see if you can bear a kid. None of my baby mothers, I didn't do that with any of them. You sound like Courage when he's trying to get Muriel's attention. I don't know what that is. Cloud, what's going on? What the hell is Unc yapping about? Compros, paying P is wild. That's crazy. Let me see. Let me get your comments. He's trying to tell folks to let their girl get trafficked. My BM was a foreign. Actually, because you use certain words. When you use certain words, I gotta block you because I don't want the video get deleted because you put traffic in there. So this guy is getting removed. Let me see. Let me see. There we go. That works. Let's see. My baby mother was a foreign exchange student. I mean, I've dealt with those in au pairs in the States. But again, the environment is going to be a very big contributor to what you're doing. Like, I wouldn't want to have, I don't plan to have another kid. And I'm working hard not to have another kid in the States because the environment is just too time consuming and too needy for hands-on everyday attention in the States. In the States is just crazy. Vova, what's going on? You're making an investment, but you can only try to mitigate. That's exactly, Jay Brash. You're making an investment, but you can only try to mitigate the risk. You can't determine the outcome. You cannot determine the outcome, never. 4 million is 1,200 USD a month, never. And she will still cheat when you leave the country. Again. It's a tough lifestyle, y'all. It's a tough lifestyle. It is definitely a tough lifestyle. We got a couple more minutes. I'm got like 5 minutes before I gotta punch in. What's going on, Mike Song? Flyboy, what up? DG, shout out to NY in the building. New York. Cloud says, so you're about building a legacy with a single mother. Building a legacy is again, I told you guys at the beginning, a lot of people join live later on. Building a legacy is not just the woman. It's not just having the kid. Building a legacy is everything you do in that country. Whether I teach people stuff, whether I have all my videos in Colombia showing the culture, showing the interactions. That's all part of building your legacy. When you're building a legacy and you add a woman into your legacy, it is it doesn't matter to me if she is a single mother because I have enough money to cover that. What matters to me is if she has more than one red flag. If she has more than one red flag, she's a single mother and she has all pro friends. If she's a single mother and the majority of her friends are pros. If she's a single mother, she's not cool with her family. Red flag, she's out of here. She's a single mother and that single mother thing is only, to me, my opinion. The single mother thing only messes me up if I wanted to be in a monogamous one relationship where I don't want her to cheat or sleep with nobody ever again for the rest of her life. That to me doesn't help me build the legacy I want to build with the child. I told people in the beginning, the number one thing is that she's jovial, that she's a friend. The one logic. The number two thing is that she's jovial, that she's a friend, that she likes to be on camera. She has that energy. Not that we're going to be madly in love and she's loyal to only be with me in a sexual way. That's not a major thing for me because I don't plan on just sleeping with one woman for the rest of my life. So I'm not going to expect that of her. What I am going to expect of her is how she shows she is around our child and things like that. Pick a baby mother is wild. the thing about Momo, the thing about picking a baby mother not being wild is that there's a lot of people who didn't pick a baby mother, and now they're going through child support. Now they're going through spousal support. They're going through all these big situations because they went for love instead of going for logic when it comes to picking a baby mother, and that's in the states and out the states. Where are you from? I'm from North New Jersey. I don't live in Colombia, but I will be buying my property in Colombia once I retire, or before I retire, most likely. I don't know. I haven't figured it out. And I go to Colombia 6 times a year. Well, 5 times a year I go to Colombia. I go to Cuba once a year. So at least 5 times a year I go to Colombia. 5 times a year. Carnival, Barranquilla, 2 times to Medellin, Carnival, Petronio Alvarez, and usually at the end of the year I try to wrap in another either Barranquilla or Medellin trip. Again, you have to be consistent. If that's another thing. If you plan on having a kid overseas, you have to be consistent as far as being able to go there once a month or once every other month. That's just something that has to be consistent. If as well as providing the income and generational wealth. Javon said you're right about that. I remember what's going on, Sly? We getting this money now this year. Big time. Sloop says you're right about the submissive raising the kids, especially if you're not there. Big facts. Big facts. I thought I struck gold with this Korean, but hell, that's crazy. LB says, 8 to 10 are climbing ladders. They want you to have motion so you can find okay, buying a bigger bag. Sometimes, yeah, but sometimes, a lot of the times, that 8 to 10 who's climbing the ladder, if she realizes that her potential is lowering down, she'll lock it in. She'll lock it in right there. So if she's like 26 over in Colombia, she'll lock it in like, all right, I got this guy right here. He's here. I'll lock it in. In my opinion. Shout out to Dan. What's going on? I got to all the comments. Cool. What's good, bro? I'm from London in the building. Shout out to London in the building, y'all. Let me get going. 1 second, y'all. Trying to get this going. All right, here we go. Been supporting your channel. I appreciate that, Stalk. All right, y'all. Again, y'all. This is gonna be this could have been a whole 2-hour talk, but I just wanted to give you guys some insight of how I go about picking a baby mother. As a person who has 2 kids, both doing well, and a person who has been, of course, it's been ups and downs. It's always gonna be ups and downs. But I think this is just a conversation that you should have with yourself. If not just listening to me, this should be a conversation that you have with yourself when picking a baby mother, especially if you want to have a baby mother overseas. Because I've seen a lot of people fall in love and use love to be the aspect of what they pick their baby mother, and then their life goes to shambles because they are hold up, man. Because they didn't think about what about the family, what about the work, what about their friends, what about her mental, what about her intelligence, what about her logic, what about how she looked, like as far as 6'7", 6'7". So I appreciate everybody for joining the live. It's your boy FRE $H Fresh at the Flyboy Way. That's THEFLYBOYWAY. Don't ask why, just check out the channel, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace. You. Woo!